Well, hello. It's Adam here from Vitamin BI. Yes, Vitamin BI. I've been working today from Learn BI Online. I've actually finished my work for today, or I suppose you could say I've had enough of work for today. So I thought I'd just hang out online, perhaps find a random data set and do a bit of data analysis practice. Perhaps you might be interested in that. So yeah, let's do it. Let's go for it. If you got any questions, comments, anything like that, just put it in the comments. There we go. Yeah, just put it in the comments, and I'll get to your questions and comments as I go through building the dashboard. Okay, tell me where you're from. Where are you joining from? Do you work in the data analysis, business intelligence? Let me know. Okay, so let's go and find a random data set. A good place for that is Kaggle. So this is where I am now. Kaggle, we go to data sets. What do we got? Trending data sets. Okay, smoking data set from the UK. Real estate sales, all TV. Let's just do this one here. Smoking data set. Let's have a look at this one. Survey data on smoking habits from the UK. The dataset can be used for analysing the demographic characteristic of smokers and types of tobacco consumed. A good morning from Alabama. Hello, welcome, Navi. It's actually, what time is it here? It is 4:20 in the afternoon, Central European time. Thank you for joining. Yeah, so a data frame with 1,691 observations on the following 12 variables. Gender with levels, female and male. Okay, age, marital status, highest qualification, blah, 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 blah. Okay, this is what it looks like. It looks fairly clean, which is good. Oh, yeah, that looks okay. Because the last time I did something like this and I just looked at some random data set online, it didn't go so well because I didn't check the data beforehand, obviously, and it needed a bit of cleaning. So it was a bit of a disaster. Hopefully this one's going to go a bit better. Let's download this. So Google. Okay, where are we? Here we go. That's a zip. Okay. We're going to do it in Looker Studio. This is just a free to use tool. Let's create a new data source, and it's going to be a file upload. Click to upload files. I think it went to downloads. Where is it? It should be a download. Smoking2.csv. Okay, uploading. Processing. Please go green. Oh no. Oh, we might have to choose a different one. Let's see. View errors. This file has processing empty column header at column number one. Okay, let's have a look at the file. Let's see what we can do with this. Sorry, I'm opening it on my other screen. Let me bring it up. Can you see it? No, you can't see it. So let's present. Which one should we do? Let's just do this here. Okay, what do we got? Oh, well, that's why. Can you see that? There's nothing in there. We'll just call this ID, shall we? ID. That hopefully should be good now. Let's delete that and try again. Uploaded. There we go. Fantastic. Okay. It's connecting. What do we got? Age as a number. Okay. Weekdays, weekends, ISO week. Ethnicity is a city. I don't think so. Let's give that text. Gender text, gross income. What did that look like? Oh, sorry, you're not seeing the screen, are you? 1 second. There we go. So I'm just going through the schema now, looking at the fields. Let's just make this a bit larger. I'm just checking all the data types are okay. Gender, ID is a number. No, we'll have that as text. Marital status, text, nationality, region. Region. Let's have a look. Region is, I'm just looking it on here, the North. I don't think Google's going to geocode the North very well. I think we're just going to leave that as text, smoke, and type. Okay, all right. Let's just create a report from this. Okay, here we go. Should we have a look at some data? Age is a number. Well, let's just add, like we have gender in there. Smokers, gender, record count. Okay, so, well, let's look at that in a, oh no, sorry, I didn't want to do that. Let's look at this as a donut chart. Okay, 57% female. Okay, report. So if you've got any questions at all, just put them in the comments. Like I said, tell me where you're watching from. Tell me if you work with data at all, what you do, how you found this channel. Yeah, let me know. So that's male, female. What have we got? We've got age as well. What would that be? No, we don't want a combined age. Let's add a chart. We want it to be, we don't want it to be sorted on record count. We want it to be sorted on age ascending. This isn't giving us all of the values because we've only got, I think, where is it? Style, number of pubs or bars. Let's try, there's going to be more than 30, aren't there? Yeah. It's not going to be any more than 100, is there? So that, let's call this in the setup rather than record count. In fact, you know what? We don't actually need. We don't actually need that. Where are you? Legend. I remember where the showing the legend is. Anyway, we'll just keep this as record count. Maybe put. I think what we'll do, in fact, is add the x-axis label, sorry, the axis title. At least that way we can see exactly what we're looking at. I mean, that's one thing you need to bear in mind when you're building reports, is that to remove any redundant information. This donut chart here, we know exactly what we're looking at. We're looking at male and female. We don't need a title to say gender or whatever. Likewise for this, we will need something here. Well, we can just use record count. and age. So we know what we're looking at here as well. There's kind of a spike at 40. It's kind of all over the place, really, isn't it? So Navi, I'm worked my way up to a BI analyst role at my company, but I never had any official training or degree. But I love coming to YouTube channels like yours to help grow and maintain my skills. Fantastic, that's great. Cool. So what kind of company do you work for? Do you what kind of data do you mostly work with? Is it kind of SQL databases or marketing data? What kind of data is it? Let me know. So we got what about marital status? Do more single people smoke? Let's see. Let's actually see what we got in marital status in terms of values. Married, single, widow, and again, we're going to need record count. We could have a pie chart here as well. Normally pie charts, no more than 5 values in a pie chart, which we've got here. Think about using it in a, we could use, let's use a bar chart instead. Yes, mainly SQL data for healthcare supply chain. And okay, right. Anybody else here working already in business intelligence, or have any plans to work in business intelligence? Want to start a career, perhaps not business intelligence, but data analysis or data science? So it doesn't need to be very big. That can be there. Again, I don't think we need to put marital status as don't need to put marital status. Actually, if I double click that, there we go. So this kind of thing doesn't really tell us that much. In terms of the actual, what I mean is in relation to the overall population statistics, like just because this sample has more married people smoking, it's probably because there are more married people in general in a society. You need to perhaps, what you would want to do here to get the actual insights that you want is to have the actual makeup of the entire UK population in terms of their marital status, and you put them side by side and you'd see where one was actually higher up or much lower down than any others. Good morning, Adrienne. Good morning from Peru. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. So what have we got? We have, let's just move this over here. So we've got gender, age, marital status, gross income. Let's try that one. We got Tron. Welcome, Tron. I work on a lot of Power BI by total accident. How come total accident? Did you not meet to work on with Power BI? Did you just fall into that kind of data analysis role? Anybody else work with a particular BI tool? So what was I doing? Nationality. Yeah, let's just put nationality in there, see what we've got. And again, record count for the metric. Has anybody used Looker Studio? I'm interested to find for people's opinions on Looker Studio as opposed to things like Power BI and Tableau, because lots of people turn their noses up at Looker Studio. I think it's a fantastic little tool for beginners, but not just for beginners, because you really need to find the right tool for your job. And if you don't need certain functionalities and you find that the tool has other good aspects in terms of putting together dashboards and things like that. That makes it easier for that. But you don't need all the advanced functionalities that you get with things like Power BI and Tableau. Then Looker Studio for me is a really good tool to use. So Navi again, hi Tron, I work in PBI as well. Okay, so yeah, most people work with Power BI. You know, Tableau is like the OG. Tableau was around when I started working in business intelligence. It was kind of like our main competitor. When I started working for a startup who built a cloud SaaS BI tool, which was really, really innovative. Nobody else was doing it at the time. And the sort of benefit of that was that it was actually built in the cloud rather than things like Tableau, which was built on premise, and then because of the need to make it cloud as well, they kind of retrofitted it or had to rebuild it while maintaining kind of the old technology as well. So it wasn't as agile as something that was actually built in the cloud, which is what the tool I work for was, which is really fantastic. I don't know why I got into that. Oh yeah, just so so you work with PB. When I started working there in 2010, Tableau was kind of like our main competitor, and Power BI really wasn't in the picture at all. Or if it was really sort of at its early stages. Okay, so we've got English, British, Scottish, other, Welsh, Irish, refused, and unknown. Somebody doesn't know their nationality. Let's put that on. Let's make that into a tree map. I like tree maps. Tree maps in Looker Studio aren't great because really what you want with a tree map is to be able to have the capacity to put a second metric. You can only put one metric into here, into a tree map, but you really want the capacity to put two metrics in so that you can like compare them or correlate them or find out any anomalies in the data. But it's kind of a square or rectangular pie chart in a way. Anyway, English, British, Scottish. Well, English and Scottish and Welsh are British. So anyway, that's that. Not so interesting, I guess. What is this smoke? What's this? Do you, oh, hang on. Am I missing the point here? Hang on. Oh, I see. Right. So this isn't, as I kind of assumed it was, I should have probably read it more clearly. This isn't kind of a sample set of just smokers. This is smokers and non-smokers. This is kind of like a random data sample, if you like. Oh, I see. Right. That is very interesting then. So we could actually do something a bit more interesting with that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to turn that into a fixed size smoke. Actually, let's turn this into drop down instead. So now, let's get rid of this. Now we can find just the ones who smoke. There we go. Most people who smoke are single. See, that's kind of what I was talking about earlier, isn't it? You would need to compare the two. I mean, this kind of gives you that. I mean, it's not a huge sample size, so I'm not sure how statistically significant or important it is, but Francis, the analyst, how do I learn to use Power BI like a pro? Any recommendations? Francis, the analyst, what kind of pro do you want to be? Do you want to be a business intelligence analyst? Do you want to be building dashboards? What do you want? It's kind of like it depends on what you want to do with Power BI. I mean, I was saying about Looker Studio being not as advanced as other tools, but in my experience, which is quite vast in working with lots of different clients on lots of different projects, a lot of the time, the majority of the time, you don't need to have something that is really powerful. Sometimes you just need to do things like this, which is really simple. You know, pie charts, bar charts, tree map, column charts, time series charts, some KPIs. So you see, you don't actually need to have all of the bells and whistles that you can have access to with more advanced tools. So when you say, how do I use Power BI like a pro? It kind of makes me think, what do you mean? What kind of things are you imagining when you say that? Let me know. Navi, I started making KPI reports on Excel for food companies. Okay. One day I was asked to make a report on Power BI. The rest is history. Okay, fantastic. I think that's kind of like a way a lot of people get into data analysis and business intelligence is by accident, a bit like you, in that you know, a lot of big large businesses have little business units within them, and they all have their own kind of data. And what happened before was that in the old days was that if you wanted access to your data, or if you wanted to build a report, or someone to build a report, you had to contact the IT department and wait for them to get back to you. So the whole premise of business intelligence really came about by the amount of data that's being produced by companies, and the need for companies to harness the power of that data and get access to it, easy access to all kinds of users without having to go via the IT department. A lot of people kind of working in larger companies decided that, you know, they wanted to analyze their data. So they got their, you know, Excel reports, and they started building reports with Excel data. And they started building reports with that, and then showed that to their colleagues, and they were like, and then all of a sudden that person becomes the data person, or the data analyst person that people start turning to, say, do you think you could perhaps make this report for me as well, or how did you do that? You see, so lots of people do fall into it by accident, I find. By practicing. Aha. Good morning, just joined. Hello, Kevon. I'm having a hard time normalizing my tables and establishing relationships. Well, where is this data coming from? Is it something that's being is this a database schema that you've written yourself? What's it for? Give me a bit more context, and I might be able to help you a bit more. Francis, the analyst, business intelligence analyst. What is the structure for practice, trying to visualize every data set? No, I mean, visualizing data sets is one aspect of business intelligence. It's the visualization part. If you want to practice, you need to push yourself and challenge yourself with larger and more complicated data sets and data sources, and learn to harness that data by using things like writing SQL queries. And one great thing you can do is you can work with BigQuery. If you get a BigQuery account, you can play with the public data sets, which can contain millions and millions of rows of data, and you can actually practice with that. And what's good about that is that you start with all these millions of rows, but you set yourself kind of like a project brief or a project goals, and you have to write the SQL to reduce the number of rows to exactly what you're going to need for your particular analysis project. So that's a really good thing to practice with. But visualizing data is kind of like a discipline of business intelligence, but the majority of business intelligence is all about getting the data to where you want it to be and in the state and at the level of the granularity that you need it to be at for your particular project. You're welcome. Kevon, I work for United States Transportation State Agency for Facility Asset Management. Okay, currently I'm tasked with creating a way to analyze the conditions of our roofs and warranty status. Okay, so where is this data coming from? What's generating this data? Is it just people in the field who are filling in Excel sheets and sending them to you? Is there some kind of tool that's used, or front end where people enter data and then you get that data? What are you trying to do? I'm using federal standards in Uniformat 2 for naming convention and schema as a starting base. I'm also using ESRs. I don't know what that is. Okay, so your initial thing was, I've done normalizing my tables. Well, normalizing is all about sort of making sure that it's that you're not kind of repeating data, duplicating data. So you use as many tables as you need. Is a good sort of good piece of advice. Don't try and be clever. Just use as many tables as you need. So I'm getting the data from scratch from Excel, construction drawings, etc. Construction drawings. So how are you? Okay, well, let's think about this logically. If you've got, what's your goal? I would imagine, as you were saying, is to creating a way to analyze the conditions of our roofs and warranty status. So that doesn't really sound like a quantitative project to me. That sounds more like a qualitative project. You need to define if this was a business intelligence scenario, which kind of is, you need to define your KPIs, okay, your key performance indicators. You need to, you need to know what your end goal is. What does your end product or your end report look like? What is it? Who is it designed for? What kind of information are you wanting to publish, collect and publish and share? And all of these kind of questions will inform how you are going to set up the tables in your database, the data you're going to collect, how you're going to collect it, etc. How you're going to turn it into tables. It's kind of difficult for me to completely. That's just some kind of advice for you. You're welcome. Oh, thank you very much, Carol, for the super chat. Much appreciated. Okay, so maybe keep going with the data. So this thing here, these are all the smokers. So what we actually found was that out of all people interviewed, it's mainly married people, but when we filter by smokers, it's mostly more single than anything else. And smokers tend to be more in, I'd say, around this kind of area here. What are we? 28 to 40. 28 to 40. Okay. What else have we got? Region. I think we looked at that before. I think this has got really the North, Midlands and East Anglia, South East Scotland. Okay. Now, Lots of people have difficulties analyzing geographic data in BI tools, mainly because the geocoding is done by it's the same kind of tools that you get behind things like Google Maps or Apple Maps. It takes the text that you input and it tries to geocode it into longitude and latitude coordinates to plot the thing. So if I went to Google Maps and typed out the north, as is the value here, it wouldn't really, I don't know where it, shall we find out where it would put it? Okay, let's go to here and just type the north. This is actually where I am, but it's at the north face Montpellier, the north face Toulouse. See, it doesn't know how to geocode it, which makes sense, really. It doesn't. So what you actually have to do is you have to give it more context. The more context and the more information that you can give the geocoding software that's part of the analysis engine, the better it is. So what you could actually do, where are we? You could add a field. We could call this region UK, and we could just do, no, we could do concat, concat region, comma, in brackets, comma space UK. What this does, it actually takes, it'll, instead of geocoding the north, it will concatenate whatever the value, that the north value with comma UK, which actually gives more information to the geocoding software. So we shall see if this works at all. Let's turn this, let's add map. Yeah, that's normal. So what have we got? Region UK. You see, that worked. If I just put region in there, I wonder if that would work. Oh, well, that actually worked as well. I don't know how that. Perhaps it's more intelligent in that it's seeing that some of the values are actually relevant to the UK. So perhaps it's considering that, well, that's actually quite lucky. That's not something that happens a lot. But anyway, better safe than sorry. Use something like concat to add extra information in there if you need to. Back to Devon. It's not quantitative yet because I haven't added cost yet. That's a good starting point. Thanks again. You're more than welcome. You're more than. I'm really happy I can help. It's kind of like the point of these live streams. Anybody else joined us? If you have, let me know where you're watching from, and say hi. We are currently analyzing, for those of you who've just joined, a data set that we found on Kaggle.com. It's just like a trending data set. And we just loaded it into Looker Studio and we're just analyzing it now. We've got gender, age, marital status, nationality, and now we've got region or location. We've got a control here, which is smokers versus non-smokers. So, oh, hang on, we didn't actually, what did we say? So it was 57-43 female to male, and in smokers, slightly less. Okay, so more, yeah, okay. Okay, Martin, good evening from Germany. Hello. Data analyst, real estate fund. Biggest problem, data is everywhere, but not in a database or simply not structured. Yeah, that's like it's the problem that is more and more common these days, because as you say, data is literally everywhere. Luckily, the majority of it is in SQL databases or Excel. But the more data that we actually have access to and are able to sort of accumulate, the more difficult it is to make sense of it. So yeah, big task. Are you working with data lakes? What kind of stuff are you? What kind of data are you collecting that's not structured or unstructured or semi-structured? But if it's semi-structured, not so much of a problem. But yeah, what are you collecting? Let me know. Actually, do you know what? This isn't very interesting as a chart, so I'm going to get rid of that. Let's put something else in its place. What is type? Have we done type? Packets. Right. Okay. Let's put my record count metric in there, and maybe let's just turn that into another. Okay, so by far and away, packets. Mostly smoked in the UK, followed by hand-rolled, both mainly hand-rolled. Okay. Have any of you smokers, or have you ever been smokers? I was a smoker for 25, 30 years. 25, yeah, between 25 and 30 years, and I gave up like 3 years ago. So I smoked for a long time. I do still miss it, I've got to say, but no, I'm glad that I did manage to stop eventually. Okay, so nationality, highest qualification or gross income. Let's just do those two last. I'm not even sure I like this chart, to be honest with you. It's not very interesting. So let's instead. Okay. So what have we got? We've got, what about gross income? Record count. We want to, I don't want it in a chart, in a table. I want it in a bar chart as well. Let's make this more bigger. Yeah, the problem with this, actually, let's. No, do you know what? I want this in a column, and I don't want it sorted by record count. I want it sorted by gross income, assuming that it's in some kind of normal order. Yeah, it's not. It's very difficult to make sense of this, is because it's kind of in a. It's kind of in an alphabetical order. So you got the. That's a bit of a mess. That's no. Yeah, it's that's not easy to use. Can you understand the problem here? Is that it's gross income is text, because it's got text in it, all the values, like it's got 2 in it, or refused, under, above, unknown. So it's text. And because it's text, you can only sort it alphabetically, or alphanumerically, if you like. So it's difficult to get kind of like a curve or yeah, you get the idea. I'm going to delete that. Let's just do one last one, and then we'll call it a day. Maybe just do a bit of tidying up or a bit of styling of the report. It's not a dashboard, by the way. Just to, I'm sure you already know this already, but a dashboard is something that is constantly updating, like a dashboard in a car or a vehicle. That's why they call it a dashboard, because the data is actually constantly telling you what's going on. It's telling you about the performance of in a car, how the car's performing. So a dashboard, this isn't a dashboard, this is a static report because the data isn't changing, it's not updating. Perhaps if this was a weekly thing, you could call it a dashboard and you could see how things were changing over time. But this is just a static report, so it's not actually considered a dashboard, it's a report. But I'm sure you knew that already. Okay, ethnicity. Let's put ethnicity in there. Record count. Let's see. Okay, majority white. Not too much information to be had in that one. It's not statistically significant. Is AM team weekdays? Oh, amount weekdays. What are the values in this? 90. Oh, I don't know what that's all about. I'm not going to go back and look either. So which one's the highest qualification? Let's just do that one to finish off with. With our record count again. And I'm going to turn this into a bar chart. Shall. No qualification. Smokers, no qualification. What about globally? Yeah, globally, no qualification. So there doesn't really change that much. Well, we've got GCSE, O-level, degree. Oh, no, that's true. Don't smoke. Degree is above GCSE, O-level. Don't know what that tells us. Probably nothing at all. But anything else you think I should analyze here that might be interesting? Of course, this has gone blank because we're talking about non-smokers, and this is all about the things that people smoke. So something to be aware of. Okay, I'll put. Do you know what I'll do? I'll put that region thing back. Pretend it's interesting. Region UK. Record count. Where is it? Size. Okay. Let's do the style. Yeah, let's bring this down a bit. Like that. What have we got? Midlands and East Anglia. And then North. That's where people were interviewed. Let's find out what smokers. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Anybody else got any questions or any comments before we wrap this up? What could we do to make this interesting? I don't know. Tell you what I'm going to do. Where are we? Add a shape. You'll see what I'm going to do in a second. And this, I wouldn't normally do this because this doesn't really help with the analysis. It's not good visualization, but I'm going to turn this into, what color do I want? Where is it? Oh, it's here. I'm going to turn it into that. And we'll add another rectangle. So now it looks like a cigarette. Okay. We want to move this forward. Anyway, that'll do. So we can add some text for this as well. He looks a bit like a cigarette at the top. Okay. Blake, low opacity rounded rectangle boxes would look nice for holding the controls. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing here. Just trying to. Oh yeah, arrange. Here we go. Order, center back. Kind of like that. Rounded rectangles. Yeah, you could. That would be your choice. Like I said, this is just me joking about. I would never not actually do this as. No. Undo. There we go. All right. Thank you very much for watching. Unless you've got any other questions or comments before we go, thanks very much for joining me today. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. It's always much appreciated. Thank you, Kevin, for the super chat. I should be posting a new video fairly soon, perhaps on Sunday. I'm just waiting for the sponsor of the sponsor of the video to finalize the sponsors segment. So once I have, the rest of the video is kind of taken care of. JS, gender would be good using demographic. What do you mean by that? Good using demographic. We've got gender here, if that's what you're referring to. Thanks for sharing. You're welcome. Thanks for being here. Kevin, thank you. Blake, thank you as well. Perhaps I'll see you soon for another live stream at some point in the near future. As I said, don't forget to hit that like button while you're here before you head off. And hope you enjoyed it. And perhaps I'll talk to you in another live cast soon. Take care. Thanks very much. Bye.